Hey, happy Sunday night to you. I'm here in the rocking chair, ready to read. It's going to be a short chapter tonight from Red Hot New Piece in Fleming. It's been quite a couple of weeks for me. Last weekend, I got together with old college cross-country teammates from Judson College in Elgin, Illinois, and we met at my friend Jim Fay's house, Jim and Lynn Fay, outside of Springfield, Illinois, and we hadn't seen one another in like 45 years. I had seen Jim last March, and I saw Stan Brown about, oh, it's probably been about 35 years ago, but 45 years kind of changes our appearances a little bit, and we had a great time revisiting stories, talking about old teammates, and man, it was something else. So now I'm back in Colorado Springs, where we had a nice sunny fall day here. I guess it was about 72 or so, 72 and sunny. Tough weather out here. Let's see. Seemed like I wanted to give a shout out to Coach Jack from Proctorville, Ohio, who during halftime of the Portsmouth Fairland football game Friday night gave a shout out to me about my Red Hot book series. He's read the first two, and man, I tell you, Coach Jackie just kept going on and on and on about it. If you're interested in that, you can actually watch the game on YouTube. Just go to Fairland High School football and look for Portsmouth Fairland football game, and that was pretty cool. I appreciate that, Coach Jack. If you are interested in reading any of the blogs I have, you can go to wordsfromww.com and read some of the things I've written recently or in the past. A couple of those that I wrote this week dealt with middle school boys basketball. We had tryouts this week, and 45 seventh graders trying out, and I had to say no to about three-fourths of them. So I talk about that in one blog, and another one I talk about handing out middle school basketball uniforms to kids who are always requesting certain numbers. And I had to explain, we go according to your size, not what number you want to wear. So that's what's going on with me. Tonight, I'm reading chapter 9 in the New Piece in Fleming book. It's a continuation of chapter 8, which I read a couple of weeks ago, where Randy Red Hot Bowman and his friend Buzz Voss from Fleming, they go for the club basketball tryouts for the West Virginia Flash, which is supposed to be like the premier club basketball team in the state of West Virginia. And so chapter 8 dealt with the first part of that tryout, and Buzz has been put on a team with a couple of guys who are, we call them ball hogs. We still call them ball hogs. And he's getting pretty frustrated. Randy tries to encourage him, but Buzz, he's ready to go home. So that's where chapter 9 picks up, and it's only about 6 pages in the book, so be kind of a short reading tonight. Here we go. Randy caught up with Buzz, who was sitting on one side of the team benches with his head down. How's it going, my man? Randy cheerfully asked, hoping to bring a smile to his friend's solemn face. I'm ready to go home. Hang in there, Buzz. Right. You know what this reminds me of? He looked at Randy with a scowl on his face. He breathed in and out of his nose in anger, causing his nostrils to flare out. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Last December, following the first few Fleming games, you tell me to hang in there, and I did. But this is different, Randy. You were watching. Those two guards of my team have no clue about working together. And bottom line, I don't like them. Hey, you're playing my team next. Let's have fun. I'm sure you will. They grabbed a couple of sandwiches and bottles of water that the West Virginia Flash were providing and found a spot in the bleachers to sit and eat. Pete and Bobby, those are two guys that are on Randy's scrimmage team here. Pete and Bobby noticed them and came over also. Pete, Bobby, this is my friend Buzz Voss. We play together for Fleming. Hey, Buzz, I'm from Parkersburg. And I'm from Logan. Good to meet you, said Bobby. Bobby just about brought the basket down on a dunk last game, said Randy. Your friend gave me a perfect pass that set it up. It must have been fun playing with him this past season. Well, half a season, Buzz replied. Half a season? Randy didn't get pulled up to the varsity until almost halfway through. He was playing JV. They were 8-0, and the varsity was 0-8. Wow, both Bobby and Pete exclaimed. After he got pulled up and actually got to play, we only lost one game the rest of the season, and that was the district championship game. Randy was looking a bit embarrassed at all the attention given to him, so he piped up and said, What Buzz isn't telling you is that he got hurt in the next to last game. Concussion, diving for a loose ball. We didn't have him for the district championship game. We would have won if he hadn't gotten hurt. Maybe. If I remember right, it seems that you put the team on your back and almost pulled out a win, replied Buzz, giving Randy a little punch in the arm. What about you guys? My team had a tough season, said Bobby. Our guards struggled whenever they got pressured. Nothing against them. One's a sophomore and the other's a junior. They tried, but just lacked ball handling skills. We finished 7-16. Ouch. My team had a decent season, Pete said. We won our district, but lost the next game. I think we finished 19-6, but I'm the only returning starter for next year. How's it going with your team today, Buzz? Frustrating. Because, asked Pete, I'm just not touching the ball at all. The other two guards seem to want to monopolize it. Oh, you must be on Deshaun and Curtis's team. How'd you know? I played with them last year. We didn't have good team chemistry. Hang in there. Oh, that's what Randy says. I'm just getting a little tired of hanging in there. Understood, replied Pete. He had reacted in similar ways when he played with Curtis the previous year. They finished their sandwiches and went back to their teams. 30 minutes later, they started warming up for their head-to-head contest. RJ brought the team together and explained what was ahead. Guys, I want you to think about help side defense this game. The two guards, Deshaun and Curtis, do not pass the ball often. They'll try to make something happen on their own, so be ready to help on defense. They'll try to get inside your head. Don't let them. Curtis talks more than a politician debating his opponent. If you just play your game and lend a deaf ear to their trash talking, you'll get them frustrated. Understand? Everyone nodded their heads and headed out for the opening tip. Curtis sneered at them as they came onto the court. "What you got, Red?" Curtis asked Randy as he came to stand next to him. "You got nothing. Understand? You got nothing. Curtis is going to give you an education, make you wish you went to that junior high tryout. So you better be ready to learn a few things." Randy smiled at him and shook his head. "You go ahead and smile. Curtis will be the one smiling when the game starts. That's right. You're going to get an education." Pete came up behind him. "Curtis, you're the only guy I know who refers to himself in the third person." "Well, what's that mean?" "It means you're a little too fascinated with yourself. Maybe by the end of the game, you'll be saying I, as in, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was after all." "Curtis is on a mission. You just watch and learn, Pete." "There you go again. You going to interview yourself after the game? Because the local news station didn't get the memo that you were playing today." "Curtis is ready to do some razzle and dazzle." Whatever. The first time Curtis touched the ball, he drove past Randy toward the basket. Bobby greeted him and smacked his shot back toward Pete. He smiled at Curtis and shook his hand to indicate it wasn't going to happen as Pete dribbled down the court for a left-handed layup. Next time up the court, Deshaun had the same thing happen to him, except it was Tyler who rejected his shot. Pete grabbed the loose ball and passed it up to Randy, who immediately lobbed a pass to a sprinting Bobby for a dunk. Curtis's coach exhorted him to pass the ball, but Curtis wanted to prove a point, and he drove past Pete toward the basket. Oop. My phone came down. There we go. Sorry about that. This time, however, Randy planted himself in the lane and stood his ground as Curtis plowed into him. Offensive foul, and Curtis erupted in protest of the call. His coach summoned Buzz into the game to replace him. Randy couldn't help but notice that the coach and the player were having an argument in front of their bench. Curtis took a seat, but continued to speak loudly to his coach. Pete caught Curtis's eye and smiled at him. He whispered to Randy, "I wonder if he's telling his coach, Curtis does not come out of the game. Curtis does not sit on the bench." This was Buzz's chance. He hustled on every play, every shot, every time on defense. A few minutes later, Theo went in for Randy and Buzz defended him. Randy watched his friend play defense with more intensity than he had ever seen. He frustrated Theo, and even though Randy was on the other team, inwardly he was cheering on Buzz. Theo, Randy's teammate, lost his handle on the ball, and Buzz dove on the floor to get it. Theo drove to the right, and Buzz's determination wouldn't let him pass by. Theo went for a shot, and Buzz had a hand in his face. Once Randy almost forgot which team he was on and started to applaud Buzz's effort. Randy replaced Pete, and Curtis subbed in for Deshaun. Randy was glad that it was Curtis who was playing defense on him instead of Buzz, and he resumed where he left off, pump faking a shot, getting Curtis to commit, and then driving around him for a short jump shot. Curtis tried to compensate on the offensive end by shooting a few long jump shots, but his rhythm had vacated him. A jump shooter needs to shoot with a fluidness in his shot. Curtis was pressing, and success was eluding him as each shot clanked off the rim. Buzz kept hustling. In fact, his coach never took him back out of the game. He rotated Deshaun and Curtis. Randy looked at him as they went to their benches at the end of the contest. Buzz returned the gaze and gave him a smile. Sometimes effort and hustle trump talent. That summed up Buzz. The day ended with Bernie Martin, the head coach for the Flash, drawing everyone together once again, thanking them for their time and effort, and reminding them that they'd get a phone call by Sunday night if they were selected for one of the two Flash teams. "I'll be seeing you, Randy," said Pete as he shook his hand. "Good to meet you, Pete." Pete extended his hand to Buzz, who stood by Randy. "You the man, Buzz. I've never seen someone give the effort that you did in that last game. Whatever happens, you were impressive." "Thanks, Pete. Since I didn't play much in the first two scrimmages, I had a lot of energy left." "Some guys would cash it in, Buzz, but you showed everybody heart. I admire you for that. I hope you get a call." "And we'll see." They headed for the parking lot with their dads who would watch from a distance the whole day. Buzz put his arm around Randy's shoulders, who returned the favor. Randy felt that he had played well enough, but other players did also. The nagging question for him was whether he really wanted to play for the Flash. His lack of excitement was a sign that he needed to figure it out for himself. That's tonight's reading. Once again, shout out to Coach Jack and everybody else who tunes into this. Once again, you can get the book on Amazon in the softcover paperback or in Kindle. And if you get one, read it and pass it on to someone. You all take care, and we'll see you later.